Bullies pick on the wrong new boy, not knowing he's a brutal fighter. The school hallways buzzed with noise as students rushed to their next class. But one figure stood out, a boy no one had seen before. He walked with a calm, steady pace, his backpack slung over one shoulder. His face was unreadable, his eyes scanning the crowd with quiet intensity. Jake and his group of friends sat near their lockers, laughing loudly. They were the self-proclaimed kings of the school, always looking for someone to mess with. When their eyes landed on the new kid, they exchanged glances. "Fresh meat," Jake smirked, cracking his knuckles. "Let's welcome him properly." The new boy barely looked their way as he passed. He was tall, lean, but something about the way he moved was different, controlled, measured, like a predator that knew exactly when to strike. But to Jake and his friends, he was just another victim waiting to be humiliated. Jake stepped into his path, forcing him to stop. "Hey, new kid. You lost," he sneered. The boy's gaze met his, steady and unaffected. "No." His voice was calm, almost too calm. It wasn't the response Jake expected. Usually, new students stuttered, looked away, or tried to be friendly. But this one? He just stood there, completely unfazed. Jake's grin widened. "You got a name, or should we just call you Nobody?" There was a long pause before the boy spoke. "Logan." "Logan," Jake repeated mockingly. "Well, Logan, there's something you should know. This school has rules. And rule number 1? You gotta earn your place." Logan remained silent, his face unreadable. It was starting to bother Jake. He was used to seeing fear, annoyance, anything but this unsettling calm. "You see," Jake continued, placing a hand on Logan's shoulder, "we like to make sure new kids feel welcomed." The second his hand touched Logan's shoulder, something changed. Logan's eyes darkened. "I'd move that hand if I were you," Logan said quietly. Jake laughed, but there was a slight edge to it. "Or what?" Logan didn't answer. He simply stared at Jake, his eyes locked onto his like a hunter watching its prey. The air around them grew tense. The other students sensed it too, whispering amongst themselves. Jake's friend, Connor, decided to step in. "Come on, man, don't waste your breath. Let's just show him what happens when people don't show respect." Before anyone could react, Jake shoved Logan back, expecting him to stumble. Instead, Logan barely moved. It was like pushing against a brick wall. That's when Logan smiled. But it wasn't the smile of someone who was scared. It was something else, something colder. "Bad idea," Logan said. Jake swung first. It was a lazy, overconfident punch, meant more to intimidate than actually hurt. But before his fist could connect, Logan moved. Fast. Too fast. In one fluid motion, Logan sidestepped, grabbed Jake's arm, and twisted it behind his back. A sharp gasp escaped Jake's lips as pain shot through his shoulder. He tried to pull free, but Logan tightened his grip. The crowd gasped. No one had ever done this to Jake before. "You should really think before you act," Logan murmured in his ear. Then, just as quickly as it happened, Logan let go. Jake stumbled forward, rubbing his arm. His face burned with humiliation. "You little," he turned, rage in his eyes, but Logan had already stepped back, hands at his sides, relaxed as if nothing had happened. "You want to try again?" Logan asked, tilting his head. Jake hesitated. He had never been in a real fight before. Sure, he'd pushed kids around, stolen lunch money, and knocked books out of people's hands. But this was different. Connor, not one to let his friend lose face, rushed forward, fist swinging wildly. Logan barely moved. He ducked, sidestepped, and with a simple sweep of his leg, sent Connor crashing to the floor. A murmur spread through the crowd. "That was insane. Did you see that? Who is this guy?" Jake clenched his fists, his pride on the line. He had to do something, anything, to turn this around. "All right, tough guy," he growled. "Let's see how you handle all of us." His friends hesitated, but Jake's glare left them no choice. One by one, they rushed at Logan. But Logan was ready. He moved like a ghost, weaving between them effortlessly. A quick elbow sent one of them staggering. A perfectly timed sidestep made another crash into a locker. Within seconds, they were all either on the ground or too scared to continue. Jake stared in shock. His entire group had been dismantled in under a minute. Logan stepped forward, his gaze fixed on Jake. "You done?" Logan asked, his voice quiet but filled with something dangerous. Jake took a step back. His breath was uneven, his confidence shattered. He could feel everyone watching, waiting to see what he would do. Logan didn't attack. He didn't have to. His message was clear. Jake swallowed hard. Then, without another word, he turned and walked away. His friends scrambled to follow, their heads down. Logan watched them go, then adjusted his backpack and walked away as if nothing had happened. The whispers followed him. "Did you see that? He took them all down alone. Who is this guy?" But Logan didn't acknowledge them. He simply disappeared into the crowd, as if he had never been there at all. And from that day on, no one dared to mess with him again. The story of what happened in the hallway spread like wildfire. By lunchtime, the entire school was buzzing about the new kid who single-handedly dismantled Jake and his gang. Whispers followed Logan wherever he went. Some students stole glances at him. Some kept their distance. Others, the ones who had been on the receiving end of Jake's bullying, looked at him with admiration. But Logan didn't care. He sat at an empty table in the farthest corner of the cafeteria, eating in silence. He had no interest in making friends, no interest in being feared or admired. He just wanted to get through the school year without any problems. But he should have known better. Across the cafeteria, Jake sat with his friends, his face still burning from the humiliation. He hadn't spoken much since the fight. His friends were quiet too, eating without their usual laughter and loud conversations. The loss had hit them hard. Jake clenched his fists under the table. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. He couldn't just let some new kid make a fool out of him. His reputation was everything. If he didn't do something, he'd never be able to show his face again. Connor leaned in. "Dude, let it go." Jake's eyes snapped to him. "What?" Connor lowered his voice. "We tried, man. We all tried. That guy, he's different." Jake's jaw tightened. He could still feel the dull ache in his arm from where Logan had twisted it. "I don't care. We're not just going to roll over and let him walk around like he owns the place." Connor sighed, shaking his head. "What do you want to do? Try again? We'll just get our asses handed to us again." Jake gritted his teeth. He knew Connor was right, but there had to be a way. And then, as if on cue, a voice interrupted his thoughts. "You boys look like you need some help." Jake turned his head and saw a tall, broad-shouldered senior standing beside their table. He had short-cropped black hair, a scar along his jaw, and cold, calculating eyes. It was Ryan. Ryan wasn't just any student. He was the leader of the wrestling team, known for being ruthless both on and off the mat. He was feared even more than Jake. Jake straightened up. "What do you want?" Ryan smirked. "I heard about your little problem. Sounds like this new kid made you look bad." Jake's eyes darkened, but he didn't respond. Ryan continued. "Here's the thing. I like putting guys like him in their place. And you? You want payback." Jake frowned. "You offering to help?" Ryan chuckled. "I'm offering to teach him a lesson. But I don't fight for free." Jake hesitated. He didn't trust Ryan, but right now, he needed someone who could actually take Logan down. "What do you want?" he asked. Ryan leaned in, his smirk widening. "You and your boys owe me a favor. When I ask for it, you don't ask questions. You just do it." Jake exchanged glances with Connor and the others. None of them looked happy, but they all knew they had no choice. "Deal," Jake said finally. Ryan straightened. "Good. Now, let's make sure your new friend understands who really runs the school." Logan felt it before he saw it, that shift in the air. The way conversations quieted as he walked through the halls. The way people looked at him, not just with curiosity now, but with anticipation. Something was coming. He reached his locker, twisting the combination lock with precision. As he pulled it open, a voice spoke behind him. "So you're the kid everyone's talking about." Logan didn't turn immediately. He finished putting his books away before closing the locker. Only then did he glance over his shoulder. Ryan stood there, arms crossed, flanked by two guys nearly as big as he was. Jake stood off to the side, a smug look returning to his face. Logan sighed inwardly. He had hoped they'd leave it alone. Clearly, he had underestimated how much their pride mattered to them. Ryan took a step closer. "You made a mistake, kid." Logan turned fully, now meeting his gaze. "Did I?" Ryan smirked. "Yeah. You embarrassed the wrong people. See Jake? He's a joke. But me? I don't lose." Logan studied him for a moment. He was big, strong, probably had experience wrestling, which meant he knew how to grapple. But Logan had faced worse. "I don't want trouble," Logan said simply. Ryan chuckled. Too late for that. Then he struck. Fast. But Logan was faster. He stepped back, just out of reach, watching as Ryan's punch sailed past him. Ryan didn't stop. He came again, this time feinting before throwing a low hook. It was a smart move, meant to catch Logan off guard. But Logan had seen better. He dodged to the side, his body moving with effortless precision. Ryan's fist barely missed him. Gasps echoed through the hallway. Ryan's smirk faltered for just a second. Then his eyes hardened. "All right," he muttered. "Let's see how you do when you can't run." He lunged, grabbing for Logan's arm, trying to get a hold. Big mistake. The second Ryan grabbed him, Logan twisted, using the momentum against him. In a blur of motion, he shifted his weight, flipped Ryan over his shoulder, and sent him crashing onto the floor. The entire hallway went silent. Ryan groaned, his face contorted in pain. His two goons hesitated, unsure whether to step in. Jake's mouth fell open. Logan stepped forward, towering over Ryan. "Are we done?" Ryan gritted his teeth, pushing himself up. "I'm not." Logan's foot came down, pressing lightly against his chest, keeping him in place. Ryan froze. Logan leaned down slightly, lowering his voice so only Ryan could hear. "I know guys like you," he said. "You think you're unstoppable because you've never fought someone who actually knows how to fight. But trust me, if I wanted to, I could have ended this fight before it even started." Ryan's breathing was heavy, his muscles tensed. Then, slowly, Logan lifted his foot and stepped back. Ryan didn't get up right away. He sat there, staring at the floor. Logan turned, glancing at Jake. "This is your last warning. Stay out of my way." Then, without another word, he walked off. The crowd parted for him, watching in stunned silence. Jake clenched his fists. His entire plan had backfired again. And this time, there was no coming back from it. The next few days were different. No one tried to challenge Logan again. People still whispered about him, still watched him carefully, but no one dared approach him with hostility. Jake stopped making eye contact when they passed in the hall. Ryan kept his head down. Logan finally had what he wanted, peace. Or so he thought. One evening, as he walked home, he felt it again. That shift in the air. He wasn't alone. His muscles tensed. He could hear footsteps behind him. Slow. Deliberate. Logan turned a corner, stepping into an alleyway. Then he stopped. And waited. Seconds later, the footsteps followed. A figure emerged. Logan's eyes narrowed. This wasn't Jake. This wasn't Ryan. This was someone else. And the way he moved, the quiet confidence, the way his hands stayed relaxed at his sides, Logan recognized it immediately. A fighter. A real one. The man smirked. "Not bad, kid. You've been making quite a name for yourself." Logan didn't move. "Who are you?" The man tilted his head. "Doesn't matter. What matters is you've caught the wrong kind of attention." Logan's pulse remained steady. He had been waiting for this moment. Because he knew, sooner or later, someone real would come looking for him. The man cracked his knuckles. "Let's see if you're as good as they say." Then he lunged. And Logan smiled. Because this was going to be fun. Logan didn't hesitate. The moment the man lunged, Logan sidestepped with precision. His instincts honed from years of brutal fights. The man was fast, faster than anyone Logan had faced in this town. But speed alone wasn't enough. Logan's body moved like a machine, slipping out of the man's reach as if he could predict his every move. The stranger smirked. "Good reflexes, kid." Logan didn't reply. He was already analyzing, calculating. The man's stance was professional, balanced, controlled. This wasn't just some thug looking to make a name for himself. He was trained, experienced. Logan knew what that meant. He had been found. The man came again, this time with a feint. His left hand twitched just enough to make it seem like he was throwing a jab, but Logan saw through it. He didn't react to the bait. Instead, he waited, because he knew what was coming. The real strike, a powerful hook from the right. Logan ducked just in time, the wind of the punch brushing past his ear. But instead of backing away, he stepped forward. In one fluid motion, he grabbed the man's wrist, twisted it, and drove his elbow into the attacker's ribs. A sharp exhale, a slight flinch. But the man didn't go down. Instead, he grinned. "That all you got?" Logan barely had time to react before the man twisted free and countered with a brutal knee to his stomach. Pain shot through Logan's ribs, but he didn't let it show. He stumbled back a step, but his eyes never left the man's. The fight had just begun. A few streets away, Jake sat on a park bench, scrolling through his phone. His bruises were healing, but his pride wasn't. He hadn't spoken much to anyone since his second humiliation at Logan's hands. Connor sat next to him, staring off into the distance. "You hear about that guy?" Jake barely looked up. "What guy?" Connor hesitated. "The one looking for Logan." Jake's grip tightened on his phone. "Who?" Connor sighed. "Some dude. Not from around here. Big. Moves like a professional fighter. Apparently, he's been asking about Logan all day." Jake frowned. He didn't know whether to feel satisfied or worried. Someone else wanted a piece of Logan? That could be good. It meant revenge was coming. But if this guy was as serious as Connor made him sound, then it also meant something else. Logan wasn't just some fighter. He was someone important. Back in the alley, Logan wiped a small trickle of blood from his lip. The man was strong. Stronger than anyone in this town. But Logan wasn't done yet. The man smirked. "Not bad. But I expected more from you, kid." Logan's muscles tensed. That word, kid. He had heard it too many times before. From arrogant trainers. From street fighters who thought they were invincible. From men who underestimated him. Every single one of them had regretted it. Logan's body shifted. His stance changed. His breathing slowed. The man noticed. His smirk faded. Then Logan attacked. Faster than before. More precise. A feint than a real strike. A kick to the knee, forcing the man off balance. A sharp elbow to the jaw. A brutal uppercut to the ribs. The combination was seamless, calculated, and devastating. The man staggered back, his breath coming in sharp gasps. For the first time, doubt flickered in his eyes. Logan pressed forward. No hesitation. No mercy. A spinning back kick sent the man crashing into the alley wall. He slumped to the ground, coughing. Logan stood over him, fists clenched. "Who sent you?" The man wiped blood from his mouth and chuckled weakly. "Didn't expect that." Logan's patience was wearing thin. "I won't ask again." The man exhaled. "Fine. But you already know the answer." Logan's jaw tightened. He did know. They had finally caught up to him. The past he had tried to escape. The life he had walked away from. They wanted him back. And they had sent this man to remind him. Days passed. Logan kept to himself. But he knew the whispers hadn't stopped. People were talking. Watching. Waiting. Jake had changed too. He wasn't just bitter anymore. He was curious. He wanted to know who Logan really was. One afternoon, he finally got his answer. Logan was sitting behind the school, leaning against a tree, when Jake approached. For the first time, there was no smugness in Jake's expression. No anger. Just curiosity. Jake hesitated, then sat down across from Logan. After a long silence, he spoke. "Who are you?" Logan didn't look at him. "Nobody." Jake scoffed. "Bullshit." Logan sighed. He should have expected this. "Why do you care?" he asked. Jake hesitated. He didn't know how to explain it. It wasn't just about the fights anymore. It was the way Logan fought. The way he moved. It wasn't normal. It wasn't just talent. It was training. Serious training. Jake struggled for the words. "I need to know. You're not some regular kid, are you?" Logan finally turned to him. For a long moment, He didn't say anything. Then, quietly he answered, "No, I'm not." Jake swallowed. "Then what are you?" Logan exhaled. His past wasn't something he liked talking about, but he could see it in Jake's eyes. The kid wasn't looking for a fight anymore. He was looking for truth. And maybe, just maybe, Logan was tired of hiding. So he told him. Not everything. Not the full story. But enough. That he had been trained from a young age. That he had been forced to fight. That he had spent years underground, surviving in a world most people didn't even know existed. And that when he finally had the chance, he ran. Jake listened in silence. When Logan finished, there was a long pause. Then Jake nodded. "So that guy in the alley?" Logan's expression darkened. He was a message. Jake's stomach twisted. "Meaning?" Logan stood up, his gaze distant. "Meaning they're not done looking for me." Jake watched him go, a strange feeling settling in his chest. For the first time, he wasn't afraid of Logan. For the first time, he understood him. And for the first time, he realized that Logan wasn't the real danger. The people looking for him were. That night, Logan didn't sleep. He knew what was coming. The first man was just a test. A warning. The real fight was still ahead. And this time, he wouldn't be able to run. Because some ghosts never stop chasing you. And Logan's past was about to catch up.